Hi and welcome to this reading vlog. In this video I'm going to be reading Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I've been wanting to read this absolute tome for so long, and today is finally gonna be the day that I start this book. So I'm really excited to take you guys along with me on this journey of about 800 pages, I believe. I've heard so many amazing things about it, so I'm really excited to see what it's all about. So let's get started. Okay, I'm currently sitting in front of a window, so there are going to be people who are going to see me talking to a camera, which is kind of embarrassing, but it's a very gloomy day. This is the best lighting. I'm just gonna have to deal with that. Yeah, so Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy is his second most famous book after War and Peace, and it basically follows rich people problems in Russia. It's over 800 pages long, so of course a lot more happens, but I actually don't know much about what's going to happen. I'm going in pretty blind. On the back it says, Anna Karenina is the story of an aristocratic woman who brings ruin on herself. So that sounds very interesting. This book is being compared to Middlemarch by George Eliot, which I also read this year, actually in March, I think. And I really love the societal aspects of that book, so if that is going to be any similar to Anna Karenina, I have really high hopes for that. So I'm definitely going to be annotating and tabbing this book. I just really want to savor this book. I have a feeling that I'm going to love it. As you can see, I've already put tabs here, which are placed at every 50 pages, so I can kind of track at what speed I should be reading to finish it this month. I have just read about 100 pages of Anna Karenina, and I am just blown away by how much I am enjoying it and how good it is. I really wasn't expecting so many difficult but yet relatable characters, so many beautiful lines, and this beautiful scenery as well. I am enjoying every word of it, and I'm only 100 pages in. I have annotated so many things. I haven't yet tabbed it, so it looks a little bit empty right now, but I have written down so many of my thoughts because I have many. First of all, I really wasn't expecting how deep and layered the characters were going to be. It really seems at this point that every character has something good going for them, but also a very noticeable flaw, and that makes the characters so relatable and realistic. There are some scenes where you're rooting for them, and then other scenes where you want to slap them in the face, so it's been very enjoyable to read about. Also, I am loving the scenery. I would die to live in this book. This book takes place in winter Russia, so there is a lot of snow. One of the scenes takes place in an ice rink. There are balls inside. I am just loving this scenery so much. I am so happy when I read this book. There are also a lot of bad things going on, so we can't forget that, but I would love to live in this winter scene. I didn't know that it was going to be so much winter, but it turns out perfectly to read this in December, so I'm really happy about that. So I'm definitely gonna continue annotating this book because I'm really enjoying keeping track of all the beautiful lines and the references. There's also a lot of psychology in here as well, which just amazes me, and I'm really enjoying that. So I'm gonna read you a couple of quotes that I think are spoiler free. The first one is that Anna is reading, and Tolstoy says, "Anna read and understood, but it was unpleasant to read. That is to say, to follow the reflection of other people's lives. She was too eager to live herself. When she read how the heroine of the novel nursed a sick man, she wanted to move about the sick room with noiseless footsteps. When she read of a member of parliament making a speech, she wished to make that speech. When she read how Lady Mary rode to hounds, teased her sister-in-law, and astonished everybody by her boldness, She wanted to do it herself, but there was nothing to be done, so she forced herself to read. I think that's such a beautiful quote. It really shows how you can read and you want to live in that book. As I said earlier, I want to live in this book so badly. And to see that Anna feels the same about other books, that is so cool to read about. It's so fun to think about that Tolstoy also had these thoughts. He thought about these things. And you can relate to that. That is so cool. Another one is that, oh yeah, Anna is traveling with someone. I'm not going to spoil who. And someone says to her, I could travel around the world with you and not be dull. And I thought that is the most beautiful compliment I have ever heard. She says, you're one of these charming women with whom it's nice to talk to and nice to be silent. And that quote, if anyone would say that about me, I would be so flattered. That's one of the most beautiful compliments I've ever heard. Just to know that someone could be with you for a long amount of time and not be bored of you. So those are just some examples of the beautiful quotes that I've just read in the first 100 pages. So I'm really excited to see what the next 100 pages will hold. So I'm going to continue reading and I'll see you at the next update. Hi, Merry Christmas everybody. Of course, by the time you're watching this, Christmas is already over, so I really hope you had a lovely time. Let's talk about Anna Karenina, because I'm exactly halfway through right now and I'm enjoying this so much. I've annotated all the way there. I've written down so many of my thoughts because this is such a complex and interesting book. As I said before, this book is very much a character-driven book. All the characters are so well developed and we can see them from so many different sides. None of the characters is inherently evil or inherently good, which makes them very realistic and very complex. And I enjoy that so much. But I was thinking about who is my favorite character, and I can't really pick any of them because I love them all, but I also hate them all. It makes me really invested in the story because I really want to see where they end up. So yeah, I've been enjoying that a lot. Out of the men in this story, I can't really pick a favorite. I mean, I want to say Oblonsky I hate the most, but I just, at the same time, I love him. He's so funny. He is really the glue of the society, so I can't really hate him. I think I hate his actions. I'm now halfway through the book, so of course I don't know what's going to happen in the last half of the book, but I think right now Levin is like the most lovable. I think he's the most lovable character, but I do wish that we get to see more of him in the last half of the book, because right now his character has been mostly about farming, and I hope we get to see some more character development of him in the last half. Then I would say Karenin is my favorite right now, which I think is a very unpopular opinion, because Karenin is not portrayed by Tolstoy as this conventionally attractive guy. I mean, he's portrayed as very cold and distant and calculated, and also his appearance is not conventionally attractive. So I think it's not a popular opinion. I think Karenin is my favorite right now. I do have a feeling that he's gonna go off the rails in the last half of the book, so I'm really holding my heart right now. Without spoiling anything, I think I see myself the most in Karenin, and what he's going through. I think the decisions he makes, I would have made myself. So I think I just can relate to him the most, and that's why he's my favorite. I just think I agree with his decisions the most, and if I were in his situation, I would have done the same. So I think that's why I like him the most. But yeah, he's not a very heroic or likable character, I would say, but his situation is so difficult. I think it's quite justified that he's so cold and distant. I really hope to see more of him as well in the last half of the book. Then about Vronsky. Vronsky has been very unlikable, in my opinion. A lot more unlikable than Karenin. But I have to say, in these last chapters, we've seen a lot more of his inner dialogue and kind of the things that he's battling with, which has been really interesting to me, and I really appreciate getting to see more of his character and not just how Anna sees him, because we see a lot through Anna's eyes, and Anna is not the most reliable person. I mean, everybody's perspective is subjective, of course, so getting to see only Anna's perspective would not give us the whole picture of what's going on. So I really appreciate that Tolstoy shows us both sides of the story and everybody's inner thoughts. It really adds layers to the story. It really adds that depth, which I really enjoy about Anna Karenina. I've been going quite slowly. I think this is a book that you cannot just sit down and read 200 pages of. There's so much being said and being done, and I find myself going back and rereading pages to really understand everything that's been going on. And especially when we get multiple perspectives of the story, it's really interesting to piece everything together and to see how everybody's own opinion influences the situation. So I've been going quite slowly, and I'm only halfway through the book. I think I'm going to split this video up into parts because I don't want to make a very long video, just me ranting about this book. Now, if you prefer a video format of me talking for an hour, then please let me know in the comments, but I just assume that people will enjoy watching 2 shorter videos more than just one big video. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know in the comments which video format you prefer, but for now I'm just going to split it up into 2 shorter videos. I feel like there's so much happening as well that it would be kind of an injustice to this book to give it only a 10-minute video. So yeah, I'm taking this slowly. I have half of the book left. I'm really enjoying this. I think I want to do a spoiler part right now, so I'll have on the screen whenever I'm talking about spoilers, so you can skip that if you want. So from now on, I'll be talking about spoilers. If you don't want to see this, I'll see you later. If you do want to see this, then keep watching for the spoiler part. Okay, now that I've given the spoiler warning, let's talk about it. This book is of course a lot about cheating and divorce. Almost all of the relationships have gone through some sort of cheating, which I feel like is a very progressive topic to write about. Of course, I wasn't there in that time, but cheating is of course very much seen as a scandal, and the relationships in this book handle it quite differently from each other. And at the point that I am right now, Karenina is filing for divorce from Anna, which is of course a whole another scandal because you're not supposed to divorce. I think why Karenina is my favorite is because in the beginning of the book, when he suspected Anna of cheating with Vronsky, he warned her about the consequences of her cheating. And one of the things that he warned her about was that it was going to affect their son. And just thinking of their son like that, even though Karenina is portrayed as this cold and distant, quite unlovable character, he shows so much love for his son. So as a child of divorce, I think Karenina caring for his son in that way just made me feel so much for him. There's so much going on inside of him, and he just really doesn't know how to express that. He's been taught to do everything rationally and everything correctly, and now he's being thrown into this situation where he doesn't know how to react, and he's feeling all of these things but he can't really express them well. So yeah, when he showed that he cared so much for their son, that just made me really happy. It's quite sad that he doesn't keep up that love and care for his son. That also just shows the consequences of Anna's actions. This book is all about the consequences of Anna's actions. I think it's a very interesting question to ask. Why is this book called Anna Karenina? Because yes, Anna is a main character, but there are a lot of other main characters as well. And the pattern that I see with Anna is that she's constantly losing her autonomy. Everything is decided for her. I feel like Tolstoy naming the book after Anna is kind of a way of giving her some of that autonomy back, because she's getting her own story, even though in her own story she gets to decide nothing for herself. Of course, she decides to cheat. I think that's one of the ways she expresses that autonomy, but when she cheats, everything, again, her consequences are all decided for her. I feel like it's kind of a tribute to Anna and the lack of autonomy that women had in this society. So by giving her her own book with her own name, kind of a tribute to her character and what she went through. Of course, Anna makes a lot of bad decisions and she really has poor mental health, but I think Tolstoy also used that to show how badly mental health was treated and how little care there was for women and mental health in general. A lot of characters in this book have mental health issues and they can get no help. So I think it's also a commentary on this society and kind of the pretense that everything is going well and everybody's happy and healthy. So I feel like this book is very much a commentary on mental health and the treatment of mental health or lack thereof in Anna, but also in the other characters. This book is surprisingly a lot about autonomy and women's health and mental health in general, which I'm really happy to read about. And at the same time, of course, we're getting a love story, a scandalous story, farming, politics, psychology, everything in one. So that's why I've been tabbing a lot and I've been loving this book so much. So I think, yeah, that was the spoiler part. So welcome back everybody who skipped that part. I'm just gonna keep reading. I don't think I'll be able to finish it this year because the year only has, a week left. But I'll be taking this book with me into January and I'm just gonna take it slow. I'm gonna take my time. And I'm enjoying it a lot. So I'm just gonna keep reading and I'll see you when I have more thoughts.